say one thing about the Tea Party, because Michelle will likely tell you what the Tea Party is about today on the most basic perfunctory level, which you're all aware of. But on a deeper level, it's about saving this country. It's the most honorable, most important movement there is in the country today. And the importance of Michelle Bachmann being here today is that Michelle Bachmann will tell you that she's a free market person, she's a constitution person. And the Tea Party is about fighting to save America from the decline it's in, and to save it from the people who are fighting to maintain the power that they have because of the decline that we're in. It's a simple fight of truth versus evil. And Michelle Bachmann is here to speak truth to us today, so let's welcome her with a wholehearted rowdy.
And but for the brave men and women who've been involved in securing our liberty, we wouldn't be where we are today. And you did a second shot that was heard around the world in the elections of 2010 that was nothing short of stunning here in the state. It's really amazing what you managed to do by sending a new senator, both of your members of Congress. You have flipped your House, flipped your Senate. The ideals that our nation was founded on. As I have seen all across the country, the Tea Party has a set of ideas. It's not a political party like the Republican Party or the Democrat Party. It's so much bigger than those two parties. That's why the left is so afraid of the Tea Party right now, because it's an enormous group of people. It's Democrats, it's independents, it's Republicans, it's libertarians, it's conservatives, it's people who aren't even political. All they know is they love the United States of America. And in that commitment, they see that our country is changing in a way that has nothing to do and is not reflective of the American ideals of our nation. And as they see that, they want the country to come back. Because they say $700 billion bailouts for Wall Street and for foreign banks? Why? What for? I voted against it. Why would you do that? It makes absolutely no sense. And to say we're going to grow the economy by having government spend $1 trillion in stimulus, how's that working out for us? Over 20 months of unemployment, and it's been over 9%. This last month, it went to 8.9%. That didn't work. Then we had a huge increase in the budget that came out. 9,000 earmarks. 9,000 earmarks. How did that work out for us? Then the government took the money and they went on a spending spree. What did they buy? They decided they were going to buy the largest banks in the United States. They bought Bank of America and Citibank. They bought the largest insurance company. This is government. bought the largest private insurance company in the United States, AIG. We poured over $100 billion down that rat hole. We still haven't gotten out of that mess. Was that a good buy? No. Were the banks a good buy? No. Well, what about GM and Chrysler? No. That was the next action they did. And one of the very first actions of the president was to issue 3,400 pink slips to car dealerships all across the United States. I would imagine even here in New Hampshire, some of your car dealerships got pink slips because people didn't buy cars on their own? No, because the automobile task force set up by President Barack Obama decided you're going to win, you're going to lose. I call that a gangster government. When you use those terms, they think you're not being necessarily polite. I think it's not about being polite. I think it's about being honest about what's going on. The government took over the banks and the insurance companies and Chrysler and GM. They decided to take over Fannie and Freddie, and those aren't someone's crazy aunt and uncle that are out. That we have seen in our lifetimes. And there's no mention that, oh, by the way, oh, we forgot to tell you, I guess, there's $105 billion worth of money in this bill. This is a fraud, and this is deceit, what has been done to the American people. You should feel I can't think of any greater deceit. And it's a two-step process. They don't do it in one step. Can you imagine why? Because we need time. We need time to think these things through if they're a bad idea. Is Obamacare a bad idea? Yes. Well, 54% of the American people have agreed with you for 49 weeks. Guess what? Barack Obama, Nancy Pelosi, Harry Reid, they figured out this is a bad idea. They're not going to like us if we put this through. So they decided in a very insulting manner to go against what you believe and reject what you think about this bill. And they decided they just throw the money in anyway. Because they wanted to make sure that no matter who gets elected in the next 8 years, it wouldn't matter. Because the results of the election would be neutralized. Because they've already written checks to themselves and post-dated those checks, and Barack Obama has the right to cash those checks every year. Last year he had one that was $6 billion. This year he has one for $5 billion. So when we talk about putting Obamacare into place and implementing it, it's not future, it's right now. As we are sitting here right now, the administration has already written over 6,000 pages of new rules and regulations. Ooh. And you thought that a 2,900-page bill in the Senate was a big bill? Oh, honey, they're just getting started. This is a bill that will never finish being written. They have 159 new boards. So here you have you on one side, you have your doctor on the other. You used to have to fight with your insurance company. Now you have to fight not only your insurance company, you have to fight 159 boards and 6,000 pages of rules and regulations, all set up to say, no, 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 you can't have it. So again, you're paying more, you're getting less. Welcome to Obamaville. Oh, that's the future. Is that our future? No. That's not my future. New Hampshire, is that your future? No. Oh, I love New Hampshire. Live free or die. You are awesome, awesome Americans. And like your other East Coast neighbor, the state of Virginia, their motto there is roughly transcribed to say, death to tyrants. So death to tyrants from Virginia and live free or die. In Minnesota, we're known as the Gopher State. proud of the origin of our nation. And you're it. You are the cradle of liberty right here in New Hampshire. And I cannot tell you how proud I am. And the fact that it is your ancestors who bled and died literally in the soil to be able to birth something called freedom. And I really do believe that we are on the cusp of watching that new birth of freedom again, because we made the down payment in November. You set the bar very high for the rest of the United States. You have given us a standard to which we may aspire. And I look forward for the next year and a half or 2 years to continue to be a part of this story, of the narrative, of calling the nation back to our roots of greatness, calling them back to remembrance of our Declaration of Independence, of the Constitution of the United States, and of the Bill of Rights that secured to the individual rights to keep us free and safe from a big, overweening government. Because that's how the Bill of Rights starts out. Congress shall make no law respecting my rights and your rights. And all the big people in the bubble known as Washington, D.C. love to turn that idea on its head and say, no, it's about making sure that government has rights. They are so foolish. They are so wrong. Because what they fail to understand, that again, the greatness of this nation is the sovereignty of the individual.